So I've lived on my own now with no roommate or anything for almost 2 years, like a little over a year and a half. So I wanted to share my experience and just kind of talk about some things I wish I had known before doing it, things that I really like, things that I dislike. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment below if you can relate to any of this or what your experience has been either with roommates or living alone, or if you still do live at home, like what would your advice for someone be? I feel like there's a huge like top pro and then there's a huge top con to living alone. So my first top pro that would definitely make me reconsider living with someone is just having my own space and it being quiet when I want, just having the feeling of being completely alone. I wouldn't even really consider myself an introvert. I don't think I'm completely an extrovert, but even with that, even with my kind of more extrovert side, coming home after a long day or after a lit night and just having the freedom to do whatever I want, to not have to be quiet for anyone, not having to really worry about anyone else. I have almost gotten to know myself more. Different people are always gonna bring out different sides of us, and it's not until we're completely alone that we really get to the core of who we are, I feel like. So not to get all deep, but that's kind of what I've experienced. Living with people in the past, it's always like, oh, maybe they're staying up way later than I am, they're having people over. You have a shared space, so you do have to work with that. So having the freedom to just have your own space, like all of it's your own, that's just like so nice. And I think especially for me as someone who works from home most of the time too, having my own space and just being able to make it what I want is really important to me because I do spend so much time here. So I would say the huge top con is definitely just expenses, not being able to split rent, and also just the basic roommate things that I used to split. Even things like Ubers, like, oh, we're both going to this party or whatever. I do have to be responsible for everything, which that's kind of annoying at times. It's cool that I'm able to do that, but then it's also like, ew, like I don't have to be doing this, but like I am. Rent is so expensive in LA. Why am I wasting all of this money? Like it's just literally like leaving. Like blessed and humbled, knock on wood, that I'm able to do it, but it's like, am I being smart? Something else that's kind of both a pro and a con is cleaning. I feel like in general, I'm a very clean, organized person. So it is nice to only have to worry about my own mess, but then at the same time, it's like, okay, like no one's gonna like randomly vacuum, like that's gonna be me, you know? You don't have that like team effort and like, oh, let's like, okay, today's like a clean day, like you do this part, I'm gonna do this part. But I found that dedicating like one day of the week, I usually like to do Sunday, that's what my mom would always do, where I deep clean, I like clean my bathroom, I vacuum, I wash my sheets, I do laundry, all of that. And it just kind of sets the week off right. And then also I try to just kind of tidy up before bed every night so that when I wake up, my house is clean, all the dishes are done. I wipe down the counters, you know, like I'll wipe the mirror in my bathroom. Little things like that that just kind of make it easier, and they just kind of make a calm vibe. Sometimes I do get lonely, low-key. Living with one of my best friends before, we just always had each other's company. Also, I feel like we were very good at like giving each other space. We weren't like too over the top and we still were able to do our own thing, but just having someone's company, watching Netflix together or eating together or just going to the grocery store together, things like that I don't really experience anymore. And on one hand, it's cool because it has made me a lot more independent and confident to go just do things by myself and even just at home, like enjoying my own company. But I do feel like I see my friends less overall. I feel like that also has to do with before in my old apartment, I was closer to a lot of friends and I had friends in my apartment building. So I feel like I was hanging out with a lot of people in general. And now I feel like usually throughout the day, I'm like pretty independent. Also for me personally, sometimes it's hard throughout the day because you don't just have someone there willing to take an IG of you, you know? You have to wait till you're like with somebody. I've really come to depend on my self-timer. One more thing, I actually just thought of this, but having the feeling of making my own home beautiful and entertaining, making it nice for guests and just having it be beautiful, that's like one of my favorite things. And now it's like I get it, because I feel like I grew up watching my parents do that, my friends' parents do that, my parents' friends do that. Being a host, being a good host, and providing that kind of entertainment and relaxation almost for people. I've really grown to love that and kind of learn how to do that. So that's been something I feel like really this past year that I've gotten better at and I really want to continue getting better at. And just knowing that like you did that, like this is my space, I'm gonna make it how I want it. That's been another thing that I'm just like really happy about. So would I ever live with someone again? I feel like if the circumstances were right, 100%, but I feel like for now, it's like, I don't know, I'm just used to it now. I like it. If you can afford it, I think it's a great experience. Because again, you do learn a lot about yourself and you do become a lot more independent. Handling everything yourself, you know, you don't have someone else there to be like, oh, we need this, or oh, we need to pay this bill or whatever. You have to be accountable for all of that, which I think is part of becoming an adult. Leave me a comment down below if you can relate to any of this. Let me know what you've experienced. If you still live at home, if you live with roommates, if you live by yourself, like how is it going for you and what would you recommend or what would your advice be to someone else? Don't forget to follow me on IG and I will see you guys in my next video.